Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Safe and Sound Texas audio excursion. This is our first live stream we're going to do every Monday evening at this time. We're calling it the Audio Quest. And in quest of that audio today, I have two special guests. I have Mr. Dave Rawlings, who is from Paramount Pressing and Plating, as well as Gary Salstrom, also from Paramount Pressing and Plating. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I have as a co-host NovisNicks up there. Been around on my show many, many times. Thanks for joining tonight, Nick, and being a co-host.
Thanks for having me, David. Greetings, friends.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you both, gentlemen.
Great to have you guys, all of you, on this cool night in Texas. It's in the freezing zone or worse, depending where you're at. So the idea of this show is to kind of have segments, to have different topics. And the first segment will be having guests on. And in this case, these two gentlemen were so kind to be my inaugural guests. And as I was probably one of the first at Paramount plant in Denver, Gary, as well, it seemed like June of last year. Is that about right? June or July of last year?
Just Mike, after we were starting Pressing Records, right?
Not hearing your audio, Gary.
Oh, wow. Okay. If you can hear this, yeah, it was right about when we started out.
Yep. Okay. Great. Yeah, I think maybe the mic needs a little more volume to be sensitized to be on. So that's great. So let's. So you guys have been operating about a year and a half. I know you weren't in real full production at that time. About when did you guys start? I know you had to start at least by the time you got a Grammy Award-winning record out. Dave and Jillian's album of Woodlands, that was a wonderful album. We were just listening to it. Give us a little background on when you got started and how things are going.
Well, Gary, do you want to talk about the beginning stages there?
The very first records we shipped, I think, was right around July 7th. And of course, it was some Dave and Gillian records that... And then that's where we started. I'm pretty sure it was July 7th was the first day that Jim Netter and I delivered the records over to UPS boxes.
Yeah, and it was. I remember at the time it was a lot of fun because we had the time when ramping up to do a good number of, tests on different compositions of vinyl, different dyes, working on cycles and things, and trying to improve to the best of our ability, what our baselines were going to be. And I think once you're operational, it's really hard to build in the time to do true, A/B testing or really anything. To improve things. And so it was great to have that right out of the gate. And I know Gary hadn't had that in a long time. So you
had a little bit of runway to get to takeoff. And you're right. And I know for those of you who don't know, and I know, David, I saw the interview you did with Michael Fremer. You're very much I'll say a purist, someone who always wants to get it right and has a lot of skill in the area of making sure things get done the right way. So having that
skill at all, I have a feeling that I think I'm just stubborn. I feel like I'm pretty bad at everything I do when I start, but I just tend not to stop until we get it somewhere we like it. So yeah, I mean, that was why Gary and I had become close before we, got into this endeavor together. It was because when Gary was pressing records for Oconee, we got to have some really wonderful conversations. And Gary, very, just a good heart, would say, I'm going to run this a couple ways, and I want you to listen to it and tell me what you think about this change or that change. And that's very much up my alley, because you can take that back to the mastering. You can take it back into the studio. You make those same kind of designate. I mean, you make those same kind of choices in songwriting. I mean, everything is the same kind of problem solving where you change something and then try to make a, decide within yourself what you like better. I think that carries through. That's one of the wonderful things where it carries all the way through to the hobby of what you're talking about. I mean, I think the same way when I'm sitting in front of speakers and say, do these sound better than those, or a cartridge, or any part of it,
Makes me kind of think of, we were talking about earlier before we went live, different businesses and how artistry works. And just now you saying that made me think of the optometrist. Is this better or is this better? I mean, right?
Yeah.
That's what okay, wait, in my mind, this is better or is this better? And it just, so I understand where you're coming from there. You always a comparative within yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's a pursuit, an artist, that's kind of where things begin, the pursuit of some sort of a story or some sort of an approach. And then if you want a certain sound, Nick and I were talking before that, some artists just like lay it down and that's it, get it out there. And, that's, what goes on in the magic boxes, nobody really cares about, but it takes a lot to get it to be the way you want it. And I mean, I noticed in the most recent album, the tonality of some of the guitars and the accuracy of them and how well mic'd they were really drew out the instrumentation quite a bit. I mean, it just was real obvious to me in listening to it.
No, well, I appreciate the compliment. And, it's funny what you say, though, because that same desire to get something the way you want, sometimes what that means is when you do have that first take or that very early draft of something that does stand up head and shoulders above anything you can do later, sometimes you have to fight to stop it from being changed. And sometimes you have to fight for the change. You just have to stay true to whatever you think you're doing. As far as the guitar sounds of things, that we've refined our processes over the years. We own our own studio and have worked with the same engineer for a lot of years. And it's a similar process where, we've just gradually dialed things in a little bit at a time and found the things that work and try to keep the things that work and change the things that don't until things are smooth.
Now your previous record of I think about 2017, and that was around the time or in response to the time when Nashville had their storms and damage, if I recall correctly.
Oh, that was that the tornado hit in 2020.
2020.
So
okay.
It was the Woodland record that was sort of.
That was okay.
It was shaped by that because we were working. There was so much work to be done rebuilding, and there was just so much time spent in that studio that at the end of the day, we were trying to think of a title for the record, and I thought, well, that's probably the most appropriate thing because it colored most every part of the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was actually in Asheville last summer and visited Citizen Vinyl, and they were, obviously Asheville was hit in the fall before that as well, similar kind of circumstances. So it's kind of interesting how these different comparisons, but they affect, the way the art form is done. Asheville's a very artsy kind of town, and they took the arts district pretty big hit there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, but, rising up from that, you tend to learn about the strengths of different organizations and groups and individuals that, really come to the rescue for that. So that, how long was that ready to go? Was the timing of that pretty much in line then when Paramount was getting ready to be able to press, when the recording was kind of done and ready?
Oh, well, in In 2020, we made a kind of a record at, a home recorded record, and released that. And that was pressed. Gary pressed that when he was at QRP. And I had asked if we could, I said, if I get this thing cut and lacquers cut on the lathe, would it be possible to press a couple thousand of these and just put them in white jackets, and that we would deal with putting artwork on them and so on and so forth, because I knew we couldn't really get anything done if we tried to go to any of the print people. I had just thought, well, this will just be a kind of bootleg thing. And we did that, and it sold out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then
Great marketing.
yeah, it worked out well. And then we actually did have some, proper sleeves printed, and we got those pressed. But that was about the time that Gary was winding down at QRP and started construction to the plant started. I'll let you take it, Gary, from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of
Oh,
Are you hearing him, guys?
I'm not.
No. Yeah, I don't know. We heard you at the very beginning and then lost it. You might want to go out and come back in, Gary, in the StreamYard. That might be helpful. Give that a shot. And use Chrome if you have Chrome. A lot of times that's the best browser as well.
Looks like he logged out. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, now I'm near Santa over here. So
Well,
yeah, Santa comes over.
If I can address David for a moment, I was listening to the latest album, and the first thing I told David about my first listen to it was that the composition was just so beautiful. I couldn't get over the composition of the album, each song, and the clarity. And I love to hear it on vinyl because it sounds like it's done right. Yeah,
Gary did an incredible job. I think the plant did a great job pressing it. So I'm really proud of how it came out. And that is the first piece of music on vinyl that we were able to press, in basically control everything from the songwriting straight through the recording and the mastering to the mastering, and then the lacquer cutting, and then the metal work. And, we got all the way through the process to pressing the record. So that was a really gratifying feeling.
That's a heck of a feat. Congratulations. That's you should be proud of that for sure.
Well, thank you.
Let's see if Gary's got a voice.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
now?
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, there. Okay. I thought I was here. So, sorry about that.
Don't be.
So we're picking it up from where you moved over and started construction.
Yeah.
Now we lost it again. This topic must be snake bit.
Yes. Well, he's cutting out all the confidential information is what he's doing. Editing on the fly.
Wow.
And then
Yeah, and then he comes back and goes, and that's how it happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we think I mean, maybe a different location, I don't know.
So he moved from wherever he was by his records already once.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So tell me, Dave, is there anything in the works right now from an artistic standpoint?
Yeah, when the Woodland record was made, we were initially thinking it would be a double album, and so there's a good pile of songs that need to be kind of revisited. Maybe a few would be re-recorded, and then we'll and start on something like that. There are a couple projects in the works. There always are, though. We tend to be very we throw away a lot of stuff over the years. It takes us a long time to get satisfied. So I can't really tell you. I don't want to lead anybody on. Gary, can we hear you now? Because I feel like I'm talking too much.
Am I here? Hopefully, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I don't know where you're at, but I'm sorry. Dave and I know he was talking. a little bit about our relationship previous to the plant. But you went out again?
Nope.
You went
Oh,
out
you're
again?
there.
I just think you got to talk a bit louder to get your mic to recognize you're there.
Okay. Well, so we realized that we worked really well together. So having the opportunity to work with Dave at Paramount has been pretty amazing because like we said earlier, we had a full, I don't know, at least a month where we were testing vinyls.
I can read lips.
Okay. Note for next show: you need someone that can do sign language.
Gary is having technical problems. Yes,
That's a shame.
maybe go back to your original location and we'll see if it was better there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Sorry, Gary.
Okay.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
now you're back. It's
yeah,
like
well, let's get him.
you only cut out when you start to answer a question. It's
Yeah,
the worst.
It's a technique I've developed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm
tell
sorry.
you what, the lawyers would love him.
Yeah. Really.
He's not giving
Steve
away.
Martin used to do that in a skit that he did. So can
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's still cutting out. So
I'm going to go back down there.
okay,
Okay.
and go ahead. My next idea will be to shut the video off, so at least we get audio.
Yeah,
And at least that way, because it takes more overhead for the video to go through.
of course.
So,
Yeah.
So what's it like to own a pressing and plating plant, Dave?
Well, it's been a lot. It's been a lot to learn. I did have some manufacturing background in my family. My dad worked at a glass plant in Central Falls, Rhode Island, and I have a great uncle and some cousins and stuff that work up in Corning, New York. So I did work at the plant when I was a young guy a little bit, and did enjoy seeing how manufacturing worked. And I was always kind of keeping an eye on how just the flow of it all. And of course, hearing about stuff like that as a kid, I felt like when we started this, and I enjoyed a lot about it, just from it felt a little bit familiar. Like you were talking about being a restaurateur, Nick, and I, like that would be something that I have no background in. And it seems like I don't feel like I would be very good at any part of it, but at least in manufacturing, I felt like I had a little bit of something to draw from.
Well, we are manufacturing product as it's ordered.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. We aren't a pre-made food restaurant. There's nothing in the kitchen that I can just hand you that's made. If you want fries, or if you want fries with your meal when you pick up, you have to wait 8 minutes.
Okay.
Everything's a science, as I'm sure it is in the pressing plant.
It's called
All right,
make
Gary,
to order.
how's
Yes.
Gary now? Do we have you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, in a time warp type.
Okay. Sorry, this is so difficult.
They sound really good now.
Well, thank you for the effort. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I get to show my records, I guess.
Yep.
But
Tell you what, Gary, why don't you shut your video off if you can just and then maybe we can get the audio to fly through. Or maybe not. Gary?
Is there anybody out there?
Yeah. That's really unfortunate. I'm thinking a router reboot might be your only real salvation at this point.
wow.
Yeah.
If I was a technical guy with any knowledge, that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, David, what's the matter
That's
with you?
what I would say.
All right, I'll try again.
Oh,
Yeah, he comes and goes.
yeah.
Yep. I hope he's
So,
not like that
you
at the
heard that?
plant.
No.
Join on your phone.
I think I'm going to try my phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good idea. But so, in general, with the plant over the last 12 months, really, that was when we've started to really ramp up and bring up our customer base and kind of design our systems and get things working well, get our operators to be, the operators are coming around month by month and making better and better records, and our numbers have just keep going up. So we feel like the trajectory is really wonderful, and we've gotten to make some really exciting records, just some wonderful music, and that's a different kind of experience for me to be involved vicariously in other artists I love in their records, but in a kind of it's just a completely different role. I mean, I've produced records, I've written songs for other people, I've done all kinds of stuff, but it is kind of fun also to be on the page of helping people put out a product, and from a plant perspective, be at the level of quality or the way that I like to have a record made. It's exciting. Yeah. And exciting to kind of also have people who don't know that much about pressing records to be able to get on the phone with so many people and say, these are the things that I like. Oh, hey, Gary.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Talk real fast. No.
Yeah. I'm so sorry this is happening.
Okay. No, I think you're good.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Well, Dave was talking about. Dave was just talking about different.
I feel like I've talked way too much.
No. I think it's interesting. We did have a question for you guys, though. One of our people out there asked whether you work directly with artists or their representatives when you're pressing somebody else's product.
It depends on where the artist is. For some independent artists, we're talking directly to them. I mean, certainly even though I have a label, when I was working with Gary and Gary was at QRP, I would get Gary on the phone, which was nice. But I think it just depends on the level that the customer is at. Most of the time, it's through a label representative or a manager. Sometimes it can be anybody in the business, right? Who supervises the vinyl production, or you could be dealing with a major label, and it could be someone who does procurement or global procurement for everything on that label, and that's a different experience.
That's such a good. Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it feels like it's a little bit different for us here at Paramount in that Dave knows most of the artists that we've been pressing for. So we deal a little bit more probably through Dave with the artist, where typically it's all label related. You very rarely hear anything from the artist unless it's a real small, like an indie thing. But it feels like it's one of the unique things about what we've got going. I don't know if that answered or not.
That's what I was about to say as well. That what a different perspective David must have, and people coming to you where you were the artist going to get your pressing, and now artists are coming to. There's not many people in the world that have that special perspective. I don't think. Well, where you're manufacturing the product that they're wanting. Pressed, and you've been there, done that literally.
One of the nicest things that happened I think 3 or 4 months into our serious pressing was there was a producer who'd made a very good record on an artist that I really like, and he was struggling with the test pressing with a little bit of, there was an organ on the inner band of one of the sides. And it was about a 26-minute side. It was a very, very long side. A little bit pitch variation all the way in there. And I really recognized that feeling that he was having as a producer, that he had, dropped the ball. And it was interesting to tell him that, one of the things about vinyl is it's a medium that has limitations. And I was like, we can look at this and say, this is centered to within a couple thousandths of an inch. This is well beyond an audiophile spec. This is a nearly perfectly centered disc. And your options are to remove a song or turn it down in level. And you have to ask yourself, is that worth having a barely perceptible thing? And really, I really felt for him because of the times where you feel such, you take all of those things upon yourself. And he just needed someone to give him permission to say, you've done an incredible job. This is an incredible sounding record. This is one tiny little thing and you can fix it. But if you do, you're going to be, you're going to be changing things. You're going to either be lowering the level of the record or losing a song or something like that. And I felt really, in that case, I felt so qualified to do the little tiny bit of hand holding that made everybody feel great. And in the end, everyone was so pleased with the product.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're saying that,
permission,
that
yeah,
long that long on the side, you have physical limitations for sure.
yes,
That's right.
yeah,
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's way stretching it.
Yeah.
That's Todd Rundgren, a Wizard of True Star, stretching it.
Well, I mean, but again, let's talk about it. Everything's different. If you're doing a mono record or a record that doesn't have much low frequency content, sometimes you can get away with that. So
When you turn it down,
yeah, it's an art form,
Yep.
And
Exactly.
I've learned so much for Gary over the years about, what works on a vinyl record and what doesn't from mistakes that I make. I make plenty of them. So
Don't we all?
Yeah.
But
Thank
if
you.
I read
Yes.
correctly, didn't you cut Woodland?
I did. Yeah.
So you have a lacquer cutter for it.
I have a lathe. Yeah. And I have done some cutting on it. I have a VMS 80 and
Okay.
I'm,
Neumann.
yeah, a Neumann lathe and I've done enough of it to be dangerous. I whenever I talk to people who really do this professionally, I'm like, look, I've come up with some kind of interesting techniques and some equipment that I'm proud of for lacquer cutting. But, I have such admiration for anybody who goes in there and cuts a number of sides a day, because I have the luxury of really, again, working and refining the process. And one of the things I have been really proud of is that some of the stuff that we have designed, because we're not on that kind of schedule for the way that we cut records on the lathe, has been of interest to these people who are in the trenches all day, every day. So I feel like there's a little bit of R&D coming from that direction too, that, that is just a luxury. There's no other way to put it,
Right. Exactly.
It's good to be the king. I mean, but it's kind of,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody
when
can
you
argue
have the
about this.
toys and you use them, right? That's special.
Control your own destiny. That's the thing about manufacturing. I mean, when I was involved, all the rage in the last 10, 20 years was outsourcing. And the problem is you lose control of your product, of your timing, of your ability to make changes on the fly. I mean, it looks good. So, when the bean counters are making the decisions, it looks easy, but none of them have really that expertise to know the downside of that.
Yeah.
And
nor are they interested.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But I've had situations where I said, no, we shouldn't do X or Y or go to X or Y from a quality perspective. And it's like, well, the dollar figure on it justifies the risk. And then they spend all kinds of money trying to fix the problem.
Right.
And it makes it late and it makes it less profitable in the end. It's called total cost of ownership of that decision.
Right. Yeah. And we had a great, it was a big success story at the plant recently where a major label brought us a really big title, and one that I'd been kind of involved in years and years ago, that they had taken to another plant for cost savings. And the test pressing had really not flown with the producer of the record, and they needed to recut it. They recut the lacquers. They had to do the whole thing again, and they kind of ended up throwing it to us, even though there was not very much time to press. It was a big order. It was, I think, 26,000 discs or something. So it was a big thing. And it, again, yeah, I feel as though they would have, yeah, I was really proud that we were able to get it pressed and get it to them. But same thing, that someone went somewhere to try to save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And
Sounds like something Gary's really used to. We need it yesterday.
yeah.
Right, Gary?
It comes with the territory. Usually we're able to come through.
Yeah.
That was a wild ride though. So we were very proud of ourselves for getting that one through.
Yeah.
Well,
Do
yeah,
you have
you
a
get
special
credibility.
do you have a special perspective on that, Gary? I'm sorry, David.
That's okay.
As far as getting titles out.
Getting that specific one out in such a rush.
Well, I mean, it went pretty smoothly. Even with some of the problems we had with presses, a press that we're still figuring out was giving us problems. And, some of the time you think, are we really going to make it? But the motivation is that, we have to make it. So you figure it out, right? Dave and I are on the phone every day trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one thing, Gary, I wanted to ask you now that I can see your mic is working. I want to catch you while you're hot.
Yeah, hot mic.
Yeah, you've worked in some of the more storied plants and older equipment and all of the TLC. I guess I'll say that you have to put in place there a lot of times because of the nature of the environment and the equipment. And now you're in a much different type of environment with new equipment and that. What do you see? Can you give me an idea of how you perceive the difference in those two and even how it affects like the end product?
Well, having new equipment means you're not working on leaks and breakdowns as often, but it really still comes down to people. And I've been fortunate, and Dave included, that I've been able to work for people that allow me, to explore that, how to get this better, how to, not just get it on time, but press as close to a perfect record as we can get. And we're always in pursuit of that, right? That doesn't really, it's a challenge that is never ending. But I've been very lucky, as you said, that I've worked with some of the best plants in the world, and it's been a great training ground. Everything that you can imagine that goes into the record, even down to mold profiles, and people have always used a profile over the course of the existence of records. Most people have used a profile that's very easy to press. Well, that doesn't necessarily line up with a good quality record. That way you can bring out as much. You want the artist to listen to that. I want Dave to listen to Woodland and say, "Holy crap! I didn't think it could sound that good." It's a continual battle. I don't know if you even call it a battle because I find it very stimulating, but it's a continuous, and it's just built on over the 40 years I've been doing this, and the people I've been able to work with, and the plants I've worked at, and and Dave. It feels like we're making some headways in some of the things that thought we could get better, and we're still working. It can always get better every step of the way.
Yep.
Sorry, that was kind of a wordy way of saying that, but
it's really exciting also to just be the parts of my mind that in whatever part of this process I've ever been in that I was always sort of curious about, well, what would happen if we tried that? Is that what makes the difference between, I remember when we were going between a couple different presses with Gary and trying to listen to, try to think about why there was such a discernible difference between these two different kinds of presses, and you just look at the things that are different between the presses and mechanically start to, develop theories. And then in some cases we're able to rule out parts of the thing and say, well, what if we change this on this press? That should change that issue. And you study through it, if as long as you can pay attention to it. I mean, most of the time, there's a lot of, and there's nothing wrong with having to just make it on time in plants that are just flying records out the door. I mean, there's
Right.
room for all of it in the world.
Yeah.
It's not a better or worse. It's just like, what's your style and what kind of person are you? And are you a detail oriented person? And are you I think Gary's always been someone who's reaching for the brass ring as far as making the best record. And, that's what makes, I feel really lucky to be working with him.
Yeah. Gary, one question I have that came up with a couple people in a recent discussion is the issue of, and this term maybe has different definitions, so I'd like to get yours. But when a person gets a record with non-fill, A, what does that really mean? And B, what typically is the cause?
Bad QC, bad quality control. The big thing is recognizing that this is happening to the record as it's pressing, right? And anybody can get rid of non-fill. It's just recognizing that it's there and having the proper leadership, which we luckily have with Rob, and you have to recognize that it's there to begin with. And I think a lot of times it gets out the door without being noticed. I think that's a big part of it.
What is it systemically in the process that causes it, though? Is it
Well,
the
typically,
heat? Is it...
so the vinyl's not spreading across the stamper properly, right? For whatever reason, there can be a lot of different reasons. Really, really wide dynamic range can cause problems. If you're not using enough heat, you can expect, there's a fine line between using not enough heat in steam, in our case, and using too much. Where not enough, you're going to develop things like non-fill and not filling the grooves in. You use too much heat, you start getting orange peel or which produces surface noise. So it's all heat related, David. It's and then you've got to cool the record down properly when it comes out of the press to deal with things like like the orange peel or the surface looking modeled. And it really comes down to understanding your cycle and what it is you're trying to do. The other, the thing that goes along with that also is that, and we're understanding more and more, the stamper has to make good contact with the the mold surface, and the way they lock together is just incredibly important. That you've got to have good heat transfer, and you have to have good cooling transfer during those parts of the cycle. If you're not making good contact with the die, the vinyl is going to have a hard time filling the groove, and it typically is at the outer edge. And then another thing that can cause, if you're overheating the vinyl, you can get inner diameter non-fill or we call it pitted non-fill. There's different forms of non-fill. It's just a matter of reject.
I mean, you're talking to Gary about non-fills a little bit like talking to an Inuit about snow. He's got whatever. There's
many different types of snow now. We can have this discussion. I am digging what Gary's laying down.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But I think the most important thing that you said, and I love that you said it first, is that it's about QC, because every press is these problems are going to come up, and they're going to need to be fixed. But what you don't want to have happen is to have one of those records put in a sleeve and sent out the door.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The thermal dynamics is pretty interesting that you were discussing. Yeah. It's people don't realize how critical that is in so many processes.
Well,
Yes,
and different types of vinyl as well, and how they spread, and
Yeah.
what types of,
sure, the
how much heat, and we're lucky to work with.
tolerances.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You've got to understand the vinyl you're using. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the typical when it comes to that non-field experience for a listener? Then is it mainly the pops and ticks kind of thing, or what's the?
usually it's a bit of a crunchiness, it's like stitching will manifest in ticks and sometimes some scraping noises, but non-fill, depending on how bad it is. I mean, we've all heard bad non-fill in records that we've bought, in that it's just this loud crunch when you get to a spot
Yeah.
where the groove hasn't filled. I mean, just picture the groove, and part of it's actually missing. It's
Yeah.
not been filled in.
Yeah, yeah, tough ride for the stylus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Tough ride.
So our goal is to not create that adventure, and everybody's done it. We've all sent records out that haven't been perfect, but the goal is to
Sure.
minimize that and try to, obviously
Right.
to never have that happen.
Yeah. So what when I was there, you were still kind of setting up, and you were setting up. I think seemed like it was an office there near Jillian, where an office for QC and listening and that. How's that
Right.
all come along and process of the business?
Well, we have a room on the other side of my office that's a QC room. I have a listening station. I listen in my room as well at my office. I check mothers, and I also listen to records that are being pressed. But it's really tightened up. It's a little bit different than what you would have seen. We got through all our vinyl testing, which was an amazing adventure, and actually never stops. But that's actually my favorite thing, is to see. Dave was talking about different tweaks, and Dave would come up with different things that we should try, and I say, no, I don't think we should, Dave. And then we try it, and it's like, oh, it worked. It's just
Outside the box, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. No,
So
that's great.
sometimes when you're in that box, you don't really see the whole picture when you're inside it. Sometimes it takes an observation from the outside of the box.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that we figured out that was interesting, that we kind of had to do on the fly, was there's a lot of people who like colored vinyl, and that's a big part of a lot of orders now, where they do different variants to be sold at different outlets, different versions. And that wasn't something that Gary had done a tremendous amount of. So we had to spend a few months with people's orders pressing on some different types of colored vinyl, and figuring out which ones really were up to the quality standards that we wanted to put out from the plant. And in some cases, we had to be kind of creative. If we had a batch of vinyl that we needed to get out for an order that was not going to, cut the mustard for us. And in some cases, we just had to be very, very meticulous in QC. But in others, we went ahead and punted and figured out a different way to make that color with high melt dispersion and a clear vinyl or whatever, just to get what they wanted, but to get it at an audio level that we were going to be happy
Wow.
with
Sure.
the plant's name on it, put it in a box with our logo on it and send it out the door. And it feels really good now to have it dialed in to where anything that someone goes on our website and points at and says, can you press this? We know we can press it and it'll sound beautiful. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I came from a world where,
Absolutely.
sorry.
Great, Gary.
Oh, I was going to add to what Dave said, is I basically came from a world where audiophile equals black vinyl.
Yeah.
So there's been a big learning curve, because that seems to have changed a fair amount. I mean, you still see, I still prefer black vinyl, to be honest with you, but it's amazing what we can do with the colors. And
Black's a color.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Gary would agree with me.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Gary froze up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's
Yeah.
Fairmount or Paramount. It sounded the
That's
same.
what I was thinking. Change the Fairmount at Paramount.
Yeah. Well, Gary's he had a good run.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I have no idea why my internet's working. I don't know if am I juddering for you all, or I've been pretty
No.
stable.
No,
Well,
you're
you've
fine.
been
Is
solid.
Gary a union guy? Is that what it is? He has to take a break every so.
Yeah. No,
Oh, gee.
he's
This
just
is it's so informative. I've enjoyed this so much.
yeah,
Oh, good, good,
yeah.
nice.
Is so how is there seems like there's more capacity now than there is demand generally in the industry. So I wondered how you guys are seeing it from that perspective.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed at the plant that's made me happy is that we have come of age in the world now where there is capacity out there for people.
Mhm.
And so it predicated, it makes it a necessity to raise the bar in terms of how you deal with your customers, outreach to people, and finding the customers who are best aligned with your goals as a plant. We've got a lot of jobs over the last year with people who said, we can't believe that we can get someone on the phone. There are cell phone numbers, and they'll walk me through things, and we can get things on press, because so many of the other plants were built in a world where in general you didn't really have to do much. People were lined up at the door, and if some of them weren't happy with what you were doing, it didn't matter. There was someone else right behind them.
Yeah.
So I think it will all kind of self-correct again. I think we're going to see capacity shrinking a little bit here in the next year, but the demand is still there. And I mean, I just thank my stars that, we got Gary at the plant, and and the plating at the plant, which is,
Yes.
plating is second to none. So we just have such a clear differentiator as far as what we can put out, that it makes it easy, much easier than it would be if I had been foolish enough to try to start a plant somewhere off by myself.
Are you guys doing plating only for any people?
We have two customers that we do some for, but our focus is to try to get our plant supplied, and we'll do a little bit here and there, but we weren't set up to do a whole lot of plating. I mean, RTI does an amazing job of that. So
Yeah, I was there a few months ago, and that's why they had a lot of outside plating work. That's what made me think of it, Gary. Actually,
Yeah. I know that Don and Gary and Shirley, I know two Davids, both agree that in today's marketplace, we're all in the customer service business. And if you don't take care of customer service like so many companies do today, they're going away, because it's not just the quality product. People want to be able to reach out and talk to somebody, or at least get a timely email back, versus, well, we'll get to you when we get to you. That kind of service is going away.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we've got, is that, we've got Jillian in our office, Brooke, Dave gets involved in customer service. We do everything we can to guide that project through successfully. It is. If nobody likes us, nobody's going to come and press with us.
Right. In my business, people say, well, why don't you advertise? Because we're small mom and pop, and we don't advertise. Most of it's all word of mouth. And I tell them straight up front, I said, look, I can give you great food, or I can give you less food, because that money's got to come from somewhere, or I can give you a lesser quality food, or I can just make the service a little worse, or I can give you the best I can and you can be my spokesman. That sounds great. I'll be your spokesman. And we get a lot of word of mouth from that. And in the community and the business you're in, that's important, as it is in any business.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that is an actual cost.
Right.
People say, oh, well, word of mouth doesn't cost anything. It costs everything. It's hard to earn that.
Yeah, and when we sent a test pressing for a record that is coming out, or a great producer that I know named Ray Kennedy he had produced it, and I was so happy when we were able to send the test pressings that Gary did from the metal work that he had done to Ray.
Mhm.
And hear Ray, who's been in this business for so long, say, I didn't know vinyl could sound like that.
Wow.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean, and we've gotten a lot of really wonderful feedback like that from people. And you never want to oversell anything, but you do. It's great when you get some feedback from people that makes you feel like you're on the right path.
In old school, they'd call that an attaboy.
Yeah.
We got another.
Look at Gary laughing.
Yeah, I think I know the answer to this one. Gary and Dave, they want to know if the jackets come from a different plant, or do you guys make the jackets, and in what kind of inner sleeves do you put the albums in?
Yeah, good
You want
question.
to take this? Kurt?
Well, we don't manufacture jackets. We have it done by, several different, Stoughton, Ross Ellis, a company called Microform. The sleeves, we primarily use rice paper. And then it's a lot of people supply the sleeves. It's as long as it doesn't damage the record, we're going to use whatever you want.
Yeah, in general, we
but
have tried to steer. We offer polylined paper and then rice paper, kind of at the plant, and then sometimes people have their custom sleeves, printed sleeves. We haven't done very much with paper sleeves, if hardly at all, but
Stay away from that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
But I
worth
mean,
it.
I don't know, man.
We'll give you one of these for that. There
Okay.
you go.
But I got to say, I've got a lot of records on the shelf that I got when I was, young or old,
Yeah.
that I found that are in paper sleeves that sound wonderful. And so, I mean, we can all, again, we can try to optimize things, but, this business has been going on a long time.
Yeah, and when you're going for the audiophile market, it's not paper sleeves.
Right.
That's the first criticism when an audiophile pulls the record out and says, "Really?" I mean, and that's the first taste they get of your product, and that's not what you want.
Right. Well, I got to say though, in my mind, really what my goal is, and I think Gary's goal is to just try to raise the bar for everybody. I don't want to be in the audiophile business. I mean, when they were putting out these incredible records through the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, that were really well pressed, that was just what went to the store.
Right.
It was not
High volume. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, we're just selling to some sub community. I mean, granted, the audiophile community and the record community are way more entwined now, because a lot of people who don't care about fidelity are probably just streaming it. Which is, I always say this, I don't understand when people are really, when I talk to someone who is massively concerned about price point as a label, and they think that there's this huge audience out there who want very inexpensive vinyl. And I just don't, it seems to me like most of the people who are interested in vinyl want it to be high quality.
Yes.
Because,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Make it worth my dollars, sure.
yes.
Exactly. And you were saying you don't want to go for just the audiophile, but when you're shooting at that market, all boats rise as the water does.
Yes, that's
So
right.
when you
That's
raise,
right. No,
when
no,
you
you want
raise
to
the
satisfy
quality,
them, but you also want someone who just is buying a record because they love an artist. They have a turntable. They just got a turntable. You want to have them drop a needle and say, "This experience is incredible." You're going
exactly because
experience for every person who puts a needle down on a record.
Yeah.
Right.
The expectation it's the whole purchasing, bringing home, unwrapping. It's the whole experience, and even the liner notes, all that. I'm sorry. Even on CDs, you can't see the liner notes. Nothing against CDs. A lot of people still spin them, and some of them sound really great, but it's a different experience than vinyl. Streaming, you can get some stuff that sounds decent on some high dollar, streamers and all the gear. It eventually adds up to what a decent turntable setup runs yet. I mean, but you still don't have that experience, the hands-on, and there's the warmth and something you can't replace without having the vinyl itself.
Well, I think raising the bar is really good way
Yes.
of putting it, Dave, because the thing is, whether it's a artist that's doing 1,000 or 500, they deserve to have just as good a sound possibility
Oh
as
yeah, when we started out, we were doing some hundreds and 200s for, some local people, some not local people. And it was, I mean, in a way it was, I know that that's not what our model is, and we can't survive if
Right.
that was all that we did. But to know that these people who, this is the first time they ever had a record pressed, and Gary was doing it, and we were doing it at the quality level that we wanted to be doing it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and this is like, I'm thinking of Gary is like, you just got Jimi Hendrix to sit in your pickup van for a minute, you're getting the
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, I'd say one of my wishes in all businesses, especially when it comes to purchasing, whether it's vinyl or any kind of media, is the customer service piece, because that to me it's so frustrating when you can't get answers on things, or you can't get through, and or it's kind of like, oh well, it's or it takes even everybody's going now to email, like you email people and you pray you're going to get a response. You can't get people on the phone anymore. It
That's
really,
frustrating.
I know a lot of people who have changed their buying habits because of that, in the
Yeah.
industry of buying records, because of that. So it's very
Yeah.
critical.
I've
And
actually gone to my mail app and said, resend on Tuesday, resend on Thursday, because you're never getting a response. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
no, it's okay. No, it's true. It's a thing. So what's in the works? Anything particular for 2026?
I know that my label, Aconi, is going to be releasing we're going to license a few records, which isn't something that we've done before. Actually, yeah, through the Warner's catalog, which I'm excited about. We, because we have the plant and we'll be able to get things pressed, it seemed like it would be a fun thing to pick out some records that maybe otherwise wouldn't get reissued, or just ones that we're excited about doing as good a quality version of them as we can.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming down the pike, and then some new music from our label also. And then, I guess I can't really spill the beans on some of the projects that'll be coming through the plant, because these are things that haven't been released yet, but we've got some really great artists and some companies that they were hoping to get things done by the end of this year that they didn't. So I think our Q1 and Q2 is going to have some exciting releases.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we might end up having to put in a couple more presses.
Oh.
Well, but Gary, did you hear that? No.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was going. I'm hoping that's not news to Gary.
No,
But you are taking new customer orders for vinyl that people want to get pressed, right? There's
Absolutely.
absolutely. Okay. Want to make sure people know that, and artists know that, and smaller artists know that. I think that's important.
No, and we've been able to be pretty reactive, and there are there are moments where we've had really big orders that things get clogged up for a little bit, but thankfully also, I mean, in some ways you'd want to be booked as far out as you could see for some reason, and believe me, there's a lot of me that would love if that was just the case, but there is also something nice about having a kind of reasonable rhythm going, where you're doing okay, but you're not telling people it's 26 weeks before they can get a product out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is
Being
your
able to,
what is generally your lead time, kind of just generally?
I mean, what would you say, Gary? 6 to 8 weeks, something like that?
Well, I mean, depending on how quickly the print can be ready. I mean, that,
Yeah.
you know, we're turning test pressings around in a few days, and depending on what's going through the press line, it can be as quickly as 3 or 4 weeks, really.
Mm, okay.
But
All
wow.
right.
typically,
Yeah.
6 to 8 weeks, because
Okay.
usually the print is just starting.
Yeah, I mean, there's all those logistics have to go. It's like waiting on this hype sticker, right? It's
Right. No, I mean, literally, that is most of the time what we end up, scheduling by is just when people, and also a lot of artists don't really get out ahead of the game with their packaging. So a lot of times you'll have a record and you'll know it's coming down the pike. And this can be with big major labels, and you're saying, okay, when's the artwork ready? And the label is, hammering the artists to try to get the print approved so we can get that in, because they've put some deadline on the book to get the record released, and they don't understand that the print is what is gonna
all those roads got to merge together.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Well, guys, it has been extremely interesting, and I really appreciate you spending the time with us today. And
Yes,
Gary,
indeed.
thanks for your effort to get connected. I appreciate it
Right.
very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Sorry
not.
about
Oh, no, thanks for not
Thank you.
abandoning me here.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think doing
Really
it from home
enjoyed.
might not have been a good choice.
Yeah.
Thank you
Well,
very
good.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we'll make sure to get the word out. And next time in Denver, I'll stop in and see you. I'll probably be there in the spring.
You're always welcome.
All right,
Well,
bud.
thank
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a Merry
Thank you,
Christmas. Happy
guys.
Merry
you.
Christmas. Yeah. Take
Yeah,
care.
same to you. Thank you. Take care.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
Okay, and I'm going. There we go. Hello,
There we
I'm back.
Oh, you're back.
That was
cute.
most enjoyable.
Well, that was nice.
Yes. So, what do you guys think out there in the peanut gallery?
Yeah, I had a lot of listening, I guess, more than commenting, which you were, we got a few in, but yeah, they are, I say, I'm up and coming, like Fidelity, in my opinion. What I've seen come out of there is very similar type of quality. So they're just smaller. They have they don't have a business relationship with a company that's releasing, dozens of albums a month. So they're going to build the business up from the ground up. But I'd say indie artists, new artists, that would be a great plant to deal with.
Yes, indeed.
Not having the hassle with the big guys, I would say, and get really good quality out of it. So that's good. Well, let's get into our next segment. Is going to be something you're going to do here. Let's see what it is. Here you go, buddy. I gave you your own intro.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, the
We're going to
ATMOS.
talk a
Wish,
bit about the
wish you
Pink
were
Floyd.
here.
Wish you were here,
Yes.
50th anniversary.
I'm
Yeah.
kidding. Yes, it
So,
is.
So Nick has
Oh.
the luxury and the good fortune of an ATMOS system, which I have had the pleasure to listen to a few weeks ago at his house. And so the Blu-ray is out with basically it's the same one as what is in the immersion box, but it adds the Dolby Atmos to the 5.1 and the quad and the stereo and the videos and whatever. So I thought we'd have Nick give us some impressions of the Atmos and what he found in it compared to the others.
Well,
Stage is yours.
I'm really wanting to give the bottom line right up front, but that would be no fun. It came in. It's $27. Let me tell you, it's money well worth spending, even if you have the other box. The Atmos is it has a, let's see, it's got the LP art when you're watching the or listening to the music. Uh, each song is just incredible. The Atmos system is it's the reason I purchased an Atmos setup. This album is one of the reasons because it's just incredible. Uh, house is full front stereo, then it's up above, and some songs it's around you. It's just totally engulfing, and that's the purpose of Atmos is to have you engulfed. The mixing was just phenomenal. It was let's see, got my well, I just don't have who mixed it right there up in front of me, but it was incredible. Also has a bootleg audio from 75 Los Angeles Sports Arena, the 1976 4.0 quad mix, the 75 stereo mix, and the 2011 5.1. The 5.1 stepping to the Atmos is going another dimension. And for Pink Floyd, it's the natural progression. It was just that incredible. Sat there, smile on my face the whole time. Went directly to it, and I just couldn't recommend it anymore. It's just so much fun. It now the album is not going to give you that experience. I have it on LP. Of course, I think it's the re-release from years gone by. I think, yeah, from the '50. But this is just another level forward, and just incredible for having it in front of you. And sometimes it couldn't tell exactly where the sound was coming from. It was just totally engulfing. And other times you could tell specifically where it was coming from. And you'd whip your head around to see if someone was coming in the room because you just didn't realize that was part of the recording. It was the first listen. And that's what my reaction is to today.
Okay.
So, yeah, Dave, it's your next visit, must listen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have the 4.0. I have the SQ from back in the days. And, you know, what I recall and what I've read now recently is that when Guthrie did the 5.1,
Yes.
the 4.0 had a lot of imagination to the way they separated things. And the 5.1 maybe brought it in a bit, maybe gave some areas a little more clarity, but because of that, it didn't quite have the experimental sound that you might expect with Pink Floyd. But it seems that came back in the Atmos. That tendency was let go more and has a lot more creativity in the placement of instruments and the
Yes.
effects that go on are more
Most
pronounced
definitely.
in the
Absolutely.
Atmos, the 5.1. So, but an Atmos is a whole different system configuration setup wise,
Yeah.
of course.
I went back after listening to the Atmos and I put on the 5.1 and I was not impressed. But how could you be after listening to being engulfed in the music? You know,
Yeah,
it just, it was a letdown. I was like, ah, nope, not going to work. Not once you've been spoiled by it. Now I know I've heard there's other reviews of this out there somewhere, and I've not looked at them or because I wanted a pure review. I didn't want to be damaged by it, mentally. And it's it was just incredible. I think it was the reason you build an Atmos system, and you
yeah.
spent, I mean, $27 for an experience that you can have over and over. It's well worth it.
So we had a question here
So
from Jason Rojas. By the way, Jason's show starts at 8:15 tonight, so be sure to join them this evening. He asked if we'd picked up any of the RSD titles. I got the Phil
Yes.
Collins. You got the Phil Collins. Very
Yes.
good. Very, very good. And very reasonably priced, like $22, I think.
Yes.
I got the Zeppelin 45. It sounds really, really good. Um,
Yes.
I'd say it's a hotter mix than what's on the record. At least sounds that way, feels that way. So it was worth it. But those are the only two things. I think Nick, you might have got the Stones, Nick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I got the Zotro.
You got you got
I
the Stone.
That was the Stones. Also picked up the John Lee Hooker. Now I haven't had time to enjoy any of these, but I
Oh,
did get the John Lee Hooker.
okay.
Okay. And I've just been rather busy like the rest of the world. And of
Right.
course, the Black Friday Zotro.
Oh yeah.
Okay, see that nice and pretty. Then T-Bone.
Deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
So yeah, I got David to start listening to some blues. Uh, he vehemently says he doesn't care for blues or jazz, and we listened to a whole Muddy Waters album. And I didn't tell him who the artist was. I just played it, and he's like, "Well, this is pretty good. This is rock and roll. This can't be blues. This is this."
Yeah,
And we listened to the whole album, and he enjoyed it thoroughly. So there's
yeah.
still hope for David.
Spread my wings.
And then let's see what else. Oh, and then I have one more. This was not part of it of the record store day, but it was close. I listened to all six sides in one session.
Was
That's
that
how good this
Rhino
album is.
live
This,
doors?
this is this is the Doors live at the Aquarius Theater, and I sat didn't get out except for to change the sides. Listened to the whole album, and it was just such a joy to listen to. So
Okay.
that's and from what I understand, that was a limited pressing. It was pressed many years ago, and this is the first time it's been repressed. I think there's only 2,000 numbered editions. Gosh knows if they sell enough, they'll send them back out in non-numbered. It's about how the industry's working these days. But it's if you're into the Doors, it's well worth having. It was a well recorded live session. So I know some people don't care for live sessions, but this was real well recorded, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Well, that's good because that's what you want. You want
Yeah,
live can be good. It's just got to be done right. That's all that really matters.
yeah,
Um, so so that's our ideas on what we thought of. And I did want to point out on the Wish You Were Here on the vinyl side, they reused the 2016. So they didn't cut anything really new at all, and that was, I think, disappointing to a lot of
yeah,
people. I've heard the vinyl was fairly noisy, and my understanding it was done at Memphis Record Pressing, which um, it wouldn't have been my pick. I'll just put it that
yeah,
way. So yeah, so that one was a bit of a disappointment. I'm glad I didn't buy it. I talked to several other people who did, and really didn't feel like it was worthy of their investment, given the fact that they had black vinyl versions of the 16, and the 16 was actually quieter vinyl.
yeah.
So it's a all around miss, I guess I'm going to say, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, at this point, when I looked at it and when it came out, I was like, how many times am I going to purchase this album? I can't count how many I have back
Yeah,
there from
yeah,
different places in the world and different pressings. And I said, you know what? If it's any good, it'll probably be there later because they didn't say it was limited press. So I went for
right.
the Atmos, and I'm so thrilled I did. Really, really am. If it didn't have the Atmos, I probably wouldn't have purchased it at all
Yeah, and
because
the thing
you
about
have
it
it on
is, I mean, you
CD.
get so much for your money. I mean, it's just crazy with
Yeah,
those discs.
there is a lot on there. Some of the mixes we're surprisingly different.
Hmm.
I mean, it's almost made you jump the way they remixed it. It was where was it? That was some of the alternate selections that were offered, and there was quite a few of them. But
Yeah,
I
the 5
thoroughly
videos on there were very good.
yes,
They were very
absolutely
good. So they were worth the price of admission alone, let alone all the audio options.
yes,
So yeah, at the end of the day, you can't beat the value of that. I just feel like that's the case, without a doubt, in my opinion.
absolutely.
So I said, great show. Thank
Yes.
you. Appreciate you guys chiming in. We're getting our sea legs. This is our first week. I do have a couple of other guests in the queue lined up. And for next week, we will be here next week. Even though it's Christmas week, it's early enough in the week. And then the following month. So we're going to be here. Yeah.
Yep.
So I just got a note here. Travis. Be safe out there. It's
Yeah.
cold, cold, cold.
Yes, it
There's no
is.
doubt
It's
about it.
cold everywhere. It seems.
It's cold. Yeah, it's cold everywhere. So
Baby, it's cold outside.
it is. So we got about a little over 15 minutes left, right around 15 minutes. So we're gonna do. There's Travis saying hello to you. So we're gonna do a little. I'm gonna do this on the show. We're gonna do a little thing called. Well, I don't know. You've ever heard of it? It's called Name That Tune. Have you ever heard of that, Nick? By any chance?
Yes, I believe.
You
I
ever heard
believe
Name
you
That?
don't need any notes to name that tune, or
You do.
maybe half a note. But yeah, I'm up for a game. It
So what are
sounds
we
like
gonna
fun.
do?
Oh, wait, I'm a guest host. I can't participate. Okay, that's all right.
So the way
But
this is going to work, and Nick, if you can help me and monitor who shows up first,
is
and
there any helping, David?
with the correct answer, I might add.
Ah,
Um,
I don't
it's a
know any
detail,
answers.
right? Right answer.
Yeah.
You can name that tune in 5 notes. Well, I'm gonna play a few notes, and then we're gonna see if anybody knows it, and then if you don't, I'll play a few more. So that's how we're gonna do this. And Nick,
Oh,
if
and
you
how many do you have to? Are we
so
scoring
what we're gonna
points?
do is each time, and so this is going to continue on each week. So uh, you can win. It's going to take 5 points to be able to win an album, and the prize will be once you've gotten 5 points, then you will be contacted to pick out an album that I will have available for you. So I'll be starting to show which ones are going to be in the hopper. Um, Next week. And once you reach 5 points, and you can get 2 points a week. So you can get 2 points this week, 2 points next week. And then if you win the third week, get 1 point. Then when you're 5, your bank. Once your bank hits, then you can select one of the records we're going to be giving away. So that's kind of the way it's going to work. So we make it a little bit fair for everybody. And
Yeah.
obviously want you to come back. So I'm about ready to start this song, and so what I want to know is the name of the song. Name of the song. Ready? There we go. I'll put it a little bit louder here.
Yeah, I think they got that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I'm surprised it hasn't popped up yet. Polk salad canny. Polk,
Who did
I got a
you see Cranberry?
polk salad canny.
Well, we know that's a
Okay,
typing error, right?
Annie. Okay, yeah. Cranberry sauce. Here's our
Cranberry sauce.
first one.
Got it. Tony Joe White, right? People say, who's Tony
Yes.
Joe White? Coke Salad Annie.
I've been down
Mind
south
your
too
Great
much.
business.
song.
I'll tell you a little
Go
bit
on.
about this so that you understand what I'm talking about.
That's Nick's kind of music down there in the swamp.
Absolutely.
All right, guards. You get an A in typing. You get a B minus in speed. So,
We
okay,
got you more fingers than keys, huh?
okay. All right, next one's coming.
Queuing it up.
There you go. That's
I
your
don't
clue.
think we needed 5 notes, but let's take a look.
Let's see.
Oh, really? Please come home for Christmas.
Yeah, that's
David
right.
of
That is the
Wyoming.
Eagles. Wyoming Dave. Woo.
Yes.
Bells will be ringing. This sad, sad news.
Very good, Wyoming Dave. Proud of you, buddy.
Love it.
To have the blues.
Very good. Now, if I get sued by Don Henley, I'm probably going to be in big trouble. So there you go. All right, so we got one for Wyoming Dave. We got one for cranberry sauce. Very good.
Yes, indeed.
All right, this song comes under the heading of guilty pleasure. So
Uh-oh. Ah, okay. Now, I do not know what he's about to play, but
no, you will not.
okay. Yeah, I have a good idea what this one is. Name that tune.
Name that
It's
tune.
five notes. Let's see.
I knew Wyoming
Only
Dave.
in my
I
dreams.
just knew it. I knew it.
Yep. He's just hit his maximum for
You
the
got
week.
2 points for the
Congratulations,
night.
David. Yes, congratulations, David.
All right. Okay, Dave, you're please don't guess because you're already good for the night. Cranberry sauce, you can do one more guess, and everybody else, you're all in, of course. All right.
Yeah, we have 17 people playing. Was that more than 5 notes?
That was a few more.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, but you needed it.
You
Yeah,
needed
you
it.
needed it for that song.
You
Yeah.
needed it for that one.
I don't think anybody could have got it with 5. Those last 2 were important. Another one bites the dust.
It is not correct,
Eh.
even though it's I get the sentiment.
Yeah. Yes.
It's in that vein, but
No, that's his one guess at it, right?
or you can take another guess. I didn't limit guesses.
Oh, okay. I wanted
Yep.
all the rules, to find.
Yep. No, I didn't. I didn't
Okay.
say there was a limit, so there isn't.
Okay.
I'm not going to make up rules as I go. I didn't think of that.
Dang, the rest of the world does. What's the matter with you?
Rock me Amadeus? No.
Yeah.
This one could be throw people.
Well, how about Rick Me Amadeus?
No.
Rick's not here, man. I really enjoyed that interview, David.
The vocal here is not on this, so this is the instrumental part of it, just so you know. I'll play a few more notes.
Our House.
No.
Cranberries really swinging.
Well, he's trying. He's going to see if something sticks
Yeah.
to the fence.
Is there anybody else out there as well?
come on.
Nobody wants to play. It says they've got 17 in the gallery, but that would be like me. I wouldn't know where to start. I don't know. I never win contests like this. Now, David and I,
Give me a hint. The song is not sung. It is basically more of a spoken word song.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it, but I know how it goes. That's about David. Now, the inspiration for this tonight, and I think David will agree, was one night we were on a phone call and I was going through my Rolodex on my iPad on Rune. I had all kinds of CDs cut, and there was a whole group of albums that were oldies. And I would start playing them, and David's on the phone naming them within 5 notes. And we went through quite a few of them. And
Oh, God.
Rune actually got the name of a few of them wrong, and
Right.
David straightened it out.
I will
It
play
was
a few more
incredible.
notes. Let's see if we get it.
I think we're going to go whoop, whoop. Let's see. Rick James. That's not a name of a song. Can't comment, but I'm stumped too. That hit rap song. I love it. Yeah, that's the one, but not the name. The revolution will not be televised. GSH, only one I know spoken. Thanks for playing, Travis Williams. Son, there it
Nobody's
is.
getting it?
Esquire. What's that?
Nobody's got it?
I don't know. No. Well, we just go.
Uh,
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, I'm
What's the
gonna
name of this?
hang on.
I'm gonna.
I'm gonna Ed Norton.
Yeah, exactly.
G work club music. Okay. Jukebox.
This is
I
this
gotta
is
pull
where your
the one
host
up
is.
that has the actual words. That's why.
Oh, I was going to say, David, name that
I'm there.
tune.
I didn't freeze up. Okay, here we go.
The wedding singer, old lady.
And I will start.
This is William
What'd they guess?
Shatner. There's
No,
points
here
for
we go.
effort. Okay.
Here it comes.
I tell you I'm all right now, but last week I was in rough shape. I don't get a break with nothing.
God.
I played hide and
Nobody
seek
did
when I was 3.
No respect, no respect,
Why they wouldn't even look for me.
no respect, no respect,
I was an ugly kid. I never
Okay.
had fun.
no respect, no respect.
I don't
They
think
put me
anybody
on dog
still
show
knows
and
the
I
name of
won.
this song.
Yes.
No Respect by Rodney
Rapping
Dangerfield.
Rodney. Well, if you guessed
Okay.
that, I played that. You guessed it. That's not a guess. That's
Yeah. Yeah, it still
everybody
is.
said Rodney.
Uh,
All
we got-
right. So
yeah.
that's a loss on that one. Nobody got that one.
Well, Mugu came in. He typed "No Respect," but I think it was after the gong.
The actual,
I'm
yeah,
not
I was already playing the song, right?
Yeah. Yes.
The song is actually called Rappin' Rodney.
Yep. Nobody got it.
Yeah, so nobody got that one. It's called
Yeah.
Rappin' Rodney. Okay, let's do this one.
Okay, here we come. How many are we doing tonight?
I'm doing a couple
5,
more.
right?
How many have I
Okay.
done? 3, 4?
3 plus Rappin' Rodney. That's 4.
Okay.
That's not your genre.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Whoa. My screen just went blank. Let's see.
Dave says that's an easy one. Okay, thanks for. I still see you,
Wow.
unfortunately.
My computer just.
You're still there.
Okay, well, I don't see a darn thing. I have no signal.
Okay, well, you're still there. Let me see if you're froze.
My light went out.
You're froze. Yeah, you're froze. I can hear you.
Yeah, I know. I see me frozen as well.
Okay, I'm going to play a little more of that one.
Yeah, I hear it. Oh, there we are. It went to sleep. That's weird. A little more.
Well,
Let's see.
1960 song, one hit wonder.
Yeah, you gotta
Definitely a
have
one hit
to.
wonder.
Who timed out? Oh, retracted. Okay. Okay. We need the name of the song, friends.
It is not the Supremes, and the band isn't the. This band only had one hit, and obviously the Supremes had a lot of hits. So
Is that a Motown song? Oh, now he wants clues.
it is not a Motown song.
There you
It
go.
was on the label Electro Voice. I'll give you that hint.
Oh, gee, you're such a sport, Dave.
There weren't many songs on that label, so
Right, exactly my point. Come on, guys. 1965 song. Oh, that's David.
yeah, that's Dave. He I'll even start playing some of the words.
Gentle is the
Well,
rain that falls softly on the meadow. Birds high up in the tree serenade the flowers with their melody.
Now, the name of the song is never used in the words of the song, ironically. So I
right.
could play it all the way through and you'd never hear the words of the title. Which is, so if I keep playing it, it's not going to. So I guess if
Right.
everybody gives, we're at 8:01 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Everybody gives. That was a group called the Toys, and the song was called The Lover's Concerto. So we got Dave as a 2 and Cranberry Sauce as a 1, right?
Correct. Thank you for playing. Thank you for coming.
So we'll do that next week. We'll probably do it a little bit longer. We ran a little longer on the interview. We had technical issues and all. So, we probably will run that for closer to 20 minutes, 25, and do maybe 10 of them. But just to kind of get you interested, please, let people know the show's going on every Monday at this time, 6:30 Central. And we'll be announcing our guest later in the week once I've firmed it up. It's a little tough getting a guest, the Monday before Christmas, but I think I've got some possibilities. So, and besides Nick as a guest, because
if after our stream ends, if you feel you need anything to tell Dave what you liked, what you didn't like, what could be done better,
in the
please
comments,
put it in the comments for us. We'd appreciate that. I appreciate being here, David. Thank you
you're very
much.
welcome. Thank you for helping me get this all ready. We've got Mr. Rojas coming up shortly at 8:15. And there's another VC Social Club coming. Monetization and advertising in the vinyl community. Well, we did none of that here.
Yeah,
Very little
no.
advertising. But anyway, thanks very much for joining. I'll be dropping my daily video shortly for the members. And remember, there's a membership opportunity on this channel for $5 a month, daily audio diets. And then I will be also putting out a shootout video on Toto 4 tomorrow. So look for that. So here from the Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion and my Louisiana affiliate, NovisNicks, thanks for watching and take care, everybody. See you soon. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.